But my estimation is sometime before the end of the summer.
What are you guys most excited about for the upcoming year? I'm excited to see, continuing enterprise adoption, bringing people onto the blockchain, and maybe some progress on the bridging problem.
The lending protocol has been released. We'll talk about that in more detail, but that's another example of that that'll be very regulated lending. There'll be commercial real estate lending.
Well, user experience is super, super critical. You can't, if you have to understand the technology in order to get it to work, there was a time when you had to understand cars to drive a car.
Again, when I think about the big picture, where we're going over the next 5 years, 10 years, I think we are now focused on abstraction layers that can actually...
Mentioning global presence, you are serving over 10 million customers in 140 different countries.
Why did the SEC go after XRP kind of first, if you will? I think that, hopefully we have resolution. We can't control that now. The judge, will make the decision when she makes the decision.
Know what you hold?
Enjoy the ride, pal.
It's the XRP Army.
Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock news. Shout out to the latest up. We got Dave ERS in the building. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap today at 2.62 trillion, up about 2.2% in the past 24. We got XRP in that number 8 spot, right around 49 cents. Stellar XLM right around 9 cents, 10 cents. BTC 68,457. We got ETH right around 35 hundo. We got Player Networks right around 0.028. Axelar 78 cents. XDC 0.034. Songbird right around a penny. We got Stronghold at 006. Sahau right around 11 cents. Evernote 20 cents. We got quite a few things popping off for XRPL Apex 2024. Mass adoption for blockchain will come in part through abstracting the tech layers the same way the internet grew. Brad Garlinghouse and Joe Katz share the stage for the first time ever with the blocks. FinTech Frank.
What are you guys most excited about for the upcoming year? I'm excited to see, continuing enterprise adoption, bringing people onto the blockchain, and maybe some progress on the bridging problem.
The thing that I'm most excited about this year, and really I'm going to give it the year, not just calendar year. We talked earlier about simplicity. We talked about usability. The abstraction layers that I see people building so that these technologies are more usable and more approachable, I think are critical to the industry, critical to the XRPL, and I'm very excited about what I see happening there.
We got XRP Ledger Apex, the name of the Ripple stablecoin, RLUSD. I like to call it Real USD. Brad Garlinghouse.
The name of the Ripple stablecoin, the RLUSD, I like to call it Real USD, Ripple USD. We're very excited about this. I also will emphasize, as I've emphasized many times, we think this is very much complementary, additive to what the overall XRP ecosystem is doing.
We got XRP drops David Schwartz on the Ripple's roadmap to institutional DeFi.
I'm going to go into more detail on each of these, but I just want to give a broad description of them on one slide so that you can sort of get the vision for where we're going and where we are. We get too down in the weeds, kind of lose the big picture. So the big picture, we have the automated market maker. It launched in March of this year. There was a little bit of drama around the launch. Many of you know, I see some smiling faces. I'm glad we're past that, but it's working very nicely now. The lending protocol has been released. We'll talk about that in more detail, but that's another example of that that'll be very regulated lending. There'll be commercial real estate lending, but it will be tokenized on the back end, so it will enable a DeFi ecosystem. Decentralized identity, if every project has to launch its own identity infrastructure, that's just going to be terrible for everyone. Oracles are critical for things like over-collateralized stablecoins, tokenized collateral. You need to have pricing information. Multi-purpose tokens will be proposed in the third quarter. It'll fill a gap in the way assets are represented on the XRP ledger. I'll talk more about that. And the EVM sidechain. So I'm going to go into more detail of all of these, but I think this is a roadmap for institutional DeFi.
Ripple X Dev, we're proud to launch XRP Ledger. Japan and Korea fund to boost innovation and utility in the XRP Ledger and APAC. Corporate partnerships, dev grants, startup investments, community growth. Learn how to fund, foster innovation and growth. All roads lead to the bridge. We got Bearable Bullrun asked, what's the biggest thing preventing mass adoption? Is Ripple's David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse both said one thing: user interface, user experience.
I was listening to your talk this morning, obviously, as we all were, and I'm curious to get both of your take on how mass adoption occurs. Obviously, I think one component is going to be making this stuff easier to use.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Iggy Azalea followed me on Twitter this morning is a good sign for mass adoption. But what else is it going to take?
Well, user experience is super, super critical. You can't, if you have to understand the technology in order to get it to work, there was a time when you had to understand cars to drive a car. You had to understand copying machines to have a copying machine. We have to turn that corner. But I think the other thing is that we need products that meet needs that real people actually have. One of the things that I mentioned in my talk is, like, for most of us, we're very well connected to the financial system, and getting money into and out of a blockchain is not difficult for us. But if you're someone who, doesn't have a whole bunch of money that you can just, send off and not be able to get to for a while, on-ramps and off-ramps are critical, interoperability, like all of those things. But really what it comes down to is just the user experience has to be great, and it has to solve a problem people actually have. It can't just be interesting. It's like, oh, it's really cool that it can do this thing, right? It has to solve a problem people actually have.
One of the things David also talked about on stage earlier today is he had been around in the earliest days of the internet, kind of the internet 1.0. I'm a lot younger than him, but I also was around. Why is that funny?
I don't know.
Oh, Frank, shots fired. I was around those days as well, and I think one of the things that really catalyzed the growth of kind of the internet 1.0 was usability.
Yeah.
Mosaic came out as a first browser that evolved into Netscape. That trying to use some of these technologies that predated the browser as we know it. I mean, people can't even think about the internet before a browser. But those things didn't exist until I think 92, 93. That was the explosive growth. And so I think, again, when I think about the big picture where we're going over the next 5 years, 10 years, I think we are now focused on abstraction layers that can actually, we don't need to know how the technology works. We don't need to know how SMTP works to send an email. Why do we need to know how to do things with core layer 1 technologies in order to take advantage of them?
Or bridging and the...
First, we have the Internet of Information. Welcome. The Internet of Value. Digital Pound Foundation in preparation of the launch of the USD-backed stablecoin. Ripple has announced a successful acquisition of Standard Custody Trust Company, appointing Jack McDonald as CEO of Standard Custody as Ripple Senior Vice President of Stablecoins. We have Mr. Man XRPL Apex 2024. Uphold just launched Topper by Uphold, which capitalizes on PIC's faster payment system. Remember that Ripple and Uphold are partners.
Mentioning global presence, you are serving over 10 million customers in 140 different countries. And how do you then ensure that those international users have consistent and reliable experience across all these different markets, so that if I'm using Uphold in the US, my experience is very similar to if I were using it in UK or Australia or other markets that you serve?
Yeah, I would almost say that users don't necessarily want it to be that consistent. They only want consistency when you're doing something peer-to-peer, right? I don't want to mess with, how to find you, Yana, and sending you some crypto. But if you're in Brazil, you don't want the same experience. You need your local payment rails, right? Because getting a credit card to go through in Brazil, near impossible, right? So we actually just launched, we have a fiat to crypto on-ramp, Topper. We just launched PIX. So now we use local payment rails. People can buy crypto like this using their local transaction process instead of, maybe what I would force down from the US is a credit card. So I think in some regions, they almost absolutely need it customized by language, by payment processing, by payment methods. Some, with off ramps, some want to off ramp to a bank, some want to off ramp to, a stable coin. So it almost goes back again, I would say, to what the user wants and how they need it in that market. It does matter consistency when you start to talk about peer-to-peer. And so we're really going to elevate the ability for borderless peer-to-peer transactions. That I think will need the consistency you're talking about.
Dark Defender, imagine you're in 2017, tired of price fluctuations for years. You sell it for nothing just before XRP hits 382. 2024 XRP has formed a similar pattern, making us feel the same as we did in 2017. On the weekly time frame, XRP stands above the support once again. Our indicator is close to oversold again as weeks before and pending for reversal. Otherwise, it would be hard for XRP to continue the uptrend. I have highlighted many times we had similar indicator and support patterns match the current position. The other side of the orange line is the resistance stands around $1. It'll be easy above 66 cents in $1. Coins Kid says my expectations are that XRP is retraced into the January 2023 lows. It rallied in a 5-wave leading diagonal from January 2023 to July 2023. It met all of my targets along the way ever since that July 2023 top. It has been retracing in a complex correction that is almost 1 year in. Invalidation is the January 2023 low at 30 cents. If we see the bottom soon, then I suspect we see a vertical in the XRP chart pretty similar to the one that played out in 2017. The vertical should, in theory, make a new all-time high for XRP, as it should be a third macro wave. Things I see in favor for the XRP bulls. XRP weekly RSI oversold. XRP versus BTC almost at the macro bound zone. 5 waves up, overlapping corrective waves down. DXY chart. Bitcoin, S&P 500, VChain, Chainlink. XRP market sentiment is very bearish. I wish you all the best of luck, but please remember, we don't have no crystal balls. And with that being said, Batman Bag Ladies, Ripple Bragg Arlen House predicts a final verdict from the court by the end of this summer, September 21st.
Well, look, I think as you reflect on the last handful of years, we'll call it 4 or 5 years, there are things that are super frustrating. You know, why did the SEC go after XRP kind of first, if you will? You know, in some ways, you look at that now and you say, we're almost at the very, very end of that journey. I think that, you know, hopefully we have resolution. We can't control that now. The judge, you know, will make the decision when she makes the decision. My estimation is sometime before the end of the summer. Somebody asked me, is that the end of August? I pointed out that September 21st is the end of summer. So I don't know, sometime there.
I think my birthday, August 28th, that's the end of summer.
You know what? I'll ask her if we can celebrate your birthday with that. That would be, we'll all celebrate with you.
We'll call the judge.
But look, it has been frustrating. What has been exciting is the momentum that has been building. I mean, look, there are 3 times as many people here as the last Apex. This community is more active, more vibrant, more entrepreneurial. I mean, it's just awesome. Like I see the momentum and the excitement here, and it's just very palpable. The U.S. market remains, frankly, a laggard. You know, the U.S. regulatory environment, even though Ripple is at the tail end of that. And I think it's strange to me that XRP is in such a unique position and that the market hasn't kind of rewarded that. XRP in the US is one of the few things we can say definitively is not a security. With ETH, I don't know how that's going to play out, right? Apparently Wells notices, which is the SEC kind of pre-warning that we're going to file a lawsuit, have been gone out to consensus, well, purportedly, as I've read, maybe on your side as well, to consensus. We know the Ethereum Foundation has received various inquiries. So look, it's super frustrating. And even it's not just the SEC. The United States kind of current administration with Gary Gensler as the head of the SEC has been pretty hostile towards crypto. But look, you asked the macro question. That has been frustrating. I think we're on the largely on the other side of that. It's the reason why I'm so excited. And hearing David talk about what's going on in the XRP ledger, I look at the next 5 years and what this community may look like 5 years from now, and I get very excited about it.
David, what does that look like from the perspective of client engagement and the penetration?
Proper party round 2, regulation molasses, September to remember. Know what you hold, know what's coming, and know why. They want you out. But XRP's only 50 cents. Price is an illusion. Look at all the partnerships. Look at all the developments. We beat out the SEC, the only digital asset with utility with clarity. XRP clearly hidden in plain sight. Clearly shaking the system. The longer they take, the higher we climb. On that XRP rich list, we'll see you at the tippy top. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing them likies. Catch you on the next one. Peace out. Later, glitches.
Welcome to the show. I told you so. I told you so. We're gonna be driving Lambos. We're gonna take a trip to Fiji. All in all, the labors.
Batman. Crypto be our passion, cause what you focus on, you attract like a magnet. Got diamond hands, we hold on to.